So everyone who just joined, welcome. Um, if you could scan the QR code that's on the screen, or I'm going to drop a link to sign in the chat again. If you can click on that or scan the QR code to sign in with us, that would be fantastic. But we are gonna get started. It's 6 o'clock. But yeah.
So everybody, my name's Kristen and I'm the Director of Engineering Student Success. And most of you guys have met Sage if you've come to our recruiting events. She's our Director of Recruiting and Outreach. So tonight we're going to be here just to answer questions for you that you might have about orientation, registration, becoming an engineering student in the Batten College. We're here to try to help answer those questions that you might be having right now, and make your transition easier for you. So as Sage said, I know we're still getting new people coming in the room, but make sure that you guys log in tonight with that QR code for us. This is our first time doing this, so bear with us. This is just an idea that we had and thought it might be helpful for you guys. So we'll get started. Maybe if oh, there we go. Okay, before we get started, I just want to talk about reading and checking your emails. It is super important to read and check your ODU email right now. You are going to get a lot, and I know it's going to feel overwhelming, but it's really important because you might miss important information. So one thing that you are going to get invited to is the New to Blue and the Exploring Your Kingdom modules through Canvas. And the only way that you can accept those is through your ODU email. So please, please, please give yourself a reminder every day, right before you go to bed, check your emails. If you see my name or Sage's name or any name, even if it's housing at odu.edu or engineering advising at odu.edu, please read those emails because we take a lot of time to make sure that you guys are getting the proper information, and it's going to come through an email. You can ask your parents. I know there's lots of parents on this call tonight. Ask them how their work communicates with them. A lot of times it's going to be through email. So it's going to be great for you guys to get into the habit now of reading and checking your emails. Okay, so ODU has restructured their orientation module, and it's called New to Blue, and it's the Monarch orientation. So we're trying to help you guys get transitioned as an ODU student from May all the way through August, and there'll be different things for you to do throughout the summer for you to be involved with ODU. So there's a website called New to Blue, and we'll link the website in the chat. Here, I'll go ahead and get that for you now. But this is going to have all of the awesome information that you guys need to get started. If it's registering for orientation, filling out, questions, timelines, questions about AP credits transferring in, all that kind of stuff, it is going to be on this New to Blue website. So you also have access to your ODU portal, and that's going to have your fall 24 freshman checklist. So, you got to pay your deposit. And if you're here tonight, you've already done that because you're a confirmed student. You have to complete your placement tests, discover your pride, and that's going to be orientation now. Submit your health forms, because if you don't get that done, that's going to prevent your registration for the spring. So this laundry list of tasks are things that you need to get done before you get to campus in August. Here is the orientation form for you to select your orientation date. Our orientation dates for engineering students is going to be July 16th, 22nd, 29th, and 30th. So those are going to be the 4 opportunities for you to come to campus. Registration will begin in May. And we're going to start doing appointments in May as soon as you complete your placement testing. And we'll get into that a little bit later. So I talked about the timeline. So if you're on that New to Blue webpage, my audio is not on.
I can hear you.
Okay. Can everybody else hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Thank you, guys. Okay. Sorry, I just saw that come through the chat. Thank you. So this timeline is going to give you all of the different information that you need. So registration opens, discover your pride and monarch orientation. You can see the information here about living learning communities and the housing application. And if you click over on the top here, like May, that's going to tell you the things you need to do in May, June, July, August. It's going to give you those list of tasks that you need to complete. So exploring your kingdom, that's going to be the engineering modules. Again, you'll get those as soon as you complete your orientation. You select your orientation date and you do the new to blue modules. They're going to look like this. And again, you're going to be invited to those through your ODU email. So again, it's really important for you to check your email because you're going to be invited to these modules and you have to accept them through your ODU email. This is in Canvas, and that's our learning platform that we use. So it's going to get you familiar to that platform that you're going to use in all your classes. There's different modules in there that's going to give you information. You'll have little quizzes at the end of each module, and it's just to help you get started and get ready for when you come to campus. The Discover Your Pride sessions, those are the ones that I talked about. Those are in July, July 16th, 22nd, 29th, and 30th again for you. And then we're going to get into the placement testing information now. So you have 3 different placement tests that you have to complete to be an engineering student. The first one is the most important to us as engineers. It's the ALEX placement test, and it's your math placement test. So for that test, you need to log on and everything that you need for ODU. If you Google ODU ALEX placement test, it will pop up. ODU chemistry placement test. It's the very first link that you're going to find. Same thing. ODU writing success placement tool. Everything that you're looking for is just ODU and then what it is you're searching for, and it pops up in the Google search bar. We'll provide links for you in your modules as well for these. But the ALEX placement test is really super important. And when you log in, you do a 15-minute assessment. After that 15-minute assessment, you can sign up to take the placement test. If you're happy with your score, good, you're done. If you're not happy with your score, you have to do 10 hours of module work before you can take the test again. And then you have 4 times opportunities to take the test. Chemistry placement test, it's a one-shot deal. Let me go back. The ALEX placement test is proctored, so you have to sign up and it can be proctored via Zoom. All of that information is on the ALEX PPL ODU website, and it lays everything out for you very cleanly. And we can get into that a little bit later if you guys have questions at the end. Same chemistry placement test, you have to have a lockdown browser for that. It is a 50-minute test with 50 questions, so 1 minute, about 1 minute per question. You have to get an 80 on that test or a 3 is the scoring. If you get a 3, you can place into chemistry 121. The writing success tool, everybody has to take that unless you have AP credit for composition 1 or 2. But that tool is about 75 minutes and they give you a prompt and you're going to write on that prompt. There's no lockdown browser or anything like that. It's not proctored. It's just you and the computer answering the prompt. So the reason why these tests are important is we cannot accurately determine the courses that you need without these placement tests. Math is super important to engineers. So if you don't take the placement test and you don't have an SAT or ACT score, you don't have dual enrollment, or you don't have an AP math class, you're going to start at Math 100. And then you go from Math 100 to college algebra, and college algebra to pre-calc 1 and pre-calc 2. Calculus, Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, right? So we're getting into 8 math classes for you, and that's going to delay your time to graduate. So for math placement, if you have an SAT or ACT scores, you can see here what math you need. If you have these scores, you don't have to worry about the ALEX. Your AP scores, you can see if you get a 4 or a 5, you get the equivalent of AP calculus, so you can register for Calc 2. For pre-calculus, if you get a 3, you can register for pre-calculus 2, and then so on and so forth. If for pre-calculus, if you get a 4 or 5, you can register for calculus 1. Chemistry, again, there is a waiver for that. If you have taken the chemistry AP test and you get a 3, that gives you credit for Chem 105 and 106, and you can place right into chemistry 121 and 122. You don't have to take the chem placement test. You just need to make sure you get your AP score sent in. If you get a 4 or 5, you get credit for chemistry 121 and 122, and you don't need to take chemistry at ODU. English AP scores, you have to have the English language composition. So if you get a 3, 4, or 5, you get English 110, and then that means you don't have to take composition 2. So that's English 211 or 231. And then English literature and composition 3, 4, 5. That means you don't, you won't have to take the general education requirement of literature. Transfer credits. So if you're enrolled dual enrollment, you need to make sure that you submit your dual enrollment credit from the community college or college that you're attending. So if you're a local ODU student and you're taking classes at TCC, you need to, or through TCC, through dual enrollment, you need to reach out to TCC and have your transcript, once your final grade is in, sent to ODU. That's how we're going to give you the credit for that class. Your final high school transcript does not count. So again, I know I talked a little bit about it, but just to reiterate, the ALEX PPL, because math is super important to us. You're going to take that initial assessment. You'll take the proctored placement exam. You have to sign up through the ODU link. It's on that ALEX PPL page. If you don't like your score, you can do the learning modules. The math test has to be proctored. You can't, there's no way around it. You can do it through ODU, or there's another option that you can pay $5 and you can take it at any time you want. But that $5 comes out of your pocket, and ODU offers it during like daytime work hours. So I believe the testing times are from 8 to 5 p.m. and you can sign up to take those tests. Here are again, a little bit more on the math placement. So you can see the SAT, ACT score, and then you can see the ALEX scores over here. There is an AccuPlacer option. The AccuPlacer option can only be done on campus. So if you are local in the Norfolk area and you want to come try and take the AccuPlacer test, you can do that. However, the AccuPlacer, if you score below a 248, so if you get a 247, you do not place into a math. So you would have to come back and retake the AccuPlacer to try and place into a math. So just so students are aware of that. And that is only given on campus. So you would have to sign up and come take that here at ODU. Again, I talked about the chemistry placement test. It's non-proctored. It's an online test. It's through Canvas. 50 questions, multiple choice. It's graded on a 5-point scale. You can see here, to be eligible to take chemistry 121 and 122, you have to place into pre-calc 1. Okay, so if you place into college algebra, but you got a 3 on the chemistry placement test, you can't take chemistry until you pass college algebra. Again, the writing success tool, that's a self-guided, non-proctored online test. Average of 75 minutes. It's reading, writing, and grammar assessment, and you have to have a 3 to enroll in English 110. Here are the links. We'll provide them. Sage, can you do that real quick for me? Okay, cool. Well, I guess it's your turn. I'll get it on my other screen if you want to go ahead and.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about some of the fun stuff, but also some of the resources that we have for students. Before I jump into this, I do want to say that if you sign in and provide your email, I am going to send this PowerPoint to you all, so you have this information in case you miss anything or want to review it when we're done here. But I want to highlight some of our student organizations. We do recommend that students get involved in at least one student organization. This is a list of all of our engineering specific student organizations. We have about 22, I believe. So our students are active. Most of our students do more than one student organization, but this is just engineering. We have a whole bunch, I think well over like 200 student organization across campus. So there's really something for everyone. A lot of these student orgs are, they're attached to professional organizations. So there's a lot of, travel to conferences. They do a lot of networking events. They bring industries on campus. Um, they do a lot of study groups. It's just a great way to bond with students who have similar interests. And it's a great way, you never know, to get internships, jobs, all that kind of stuff. So I really want to preface, when you're coming to campus this fall, get involved in one way or another. Joining a student organization is a great way to do that. And they are very welcoming. They're very active on campus. You don't have to be fully active in these organizations, but it's a good way to connect with students. And students of all ages and, different classes and all that kind of stuff. I then want to talk about, Kristen, if you could change the slide, student competition groups. So these are usually attached to a student organization. This is just a few of them that we have. Students are looking into competition groups all the time and, they're competing for them. So this is just, some of them. But students, this is another way for students to get involved with engineering outside of the classroom. So there's really something for everyone. Whether you're interested in vehicles and cars, we have a formula team and a Baja team where they have a lab space where they work on and build cars from the ground up and then go compete and travel. There's something for our civil engineers. There's something if you're more interested in the environmental side, robotics, electrical. There's really something for everyone. And again, students are finding competitions out there and they are going out and, competing and starting their project for whatever those organizations are looking for. Um, I will say our concrete canoe, they just went out and they competed at Virginia Tech. I'm not sure how they did, but it's a great way for students to travel, network, get to, hear, see other people's projects. It's a cool, fun activity for them. And it's a great resume builder as well. I also want to talk about our MLab space. This is a free facility for our students to use. And this is in one of our engineering buildings. So when you come to campus this fall, take a look at this space. It's free to use. There's a lot of equipment in this space, and you don't have to know any of the equipment of how to use it. There's training that's involved when going into this space that you have to complete. So you can go completely blind into this process, learn the equipment, work on projects, whether that's, a class project, a senior design project, or you just, have an idea you want to do and you want to learn the equipment, you can certainly do this. If you scan the QR code, it will take you to the website. It'll tell you more about what machines they have. They do workshops and all that kind of fun stuff. The only thing with this is you do have to provide your own material. So a lot of our students, if they want to use a space, a lot of them go to 3D printing because it's not cost heavy to buy filament for the 3D printers. So that's where they first start, and then they kind of work their way up. That's what I've been told. So it's a great space. It's student ran too, so it's a student organization, students running this lab space. So you get to connect with other students. If you want to be involved, you can. You could be, in charge of safety or, be on the leadership board eventually, or be a manager of one of the labs. It's a possibility. So I think that's a cool thing that we offer for our students. And it's open to all students. You don't have to be in engineering, but with engineering, you'll use a lot of this equipment potentially in the future. So, you might as well learn it here with us while you're, here for 4 years. Another free resource that we have is tutoring. Especially if you're not math heavy or, you struggle a little bit, or maybe you just want extra support in the classroom. We have tutoring services for students. So we have free tutoring for math, science, and also many other subjects. there is a link there, or if you scan the QR code, it will take you to our tutoring site. There's also, we offer tutoring online as well, so if you can't come to campus, or we might only offer visatutor.com, you can access it that way as well. And then once you get into whatever major, for instance, mechanical, we have tutoring set in place for mechanical students as well, or civil or electrical. So there's opportunities to get additional support outside the classroom for your studies. And I do also want to mention there's office hours too. So coming in as a freshman, professors will tell you what their office hours are. All of the professors are required to have office hours. They do that for a reason, for students to go ask, get extra support in the classroom. So use those office hours, talk to your professors, get to know them, build a rapport with them, because it will help you in the long run. So figure out when your professor's office hours are and go to them if you need anything. Even if it's a simple question, go to their office hours. I want to highlight some other resources. We offer a lot of resources, but I'm only going to name a couple. That QR code will take you to more resources, and those resources if you want to learn more about them or want to save them for later. We have a career development service office on campus. This department offers a bunch of different resources on mock interviewing for potential jobs or internships, looking over resumes, being an engineering student and going into that industry. Your resume is going to look a little bit different than someone who is going into business or psychology. You're going to have a technical resume. So going to the career development services office will help go over your resume, make sure it looks good, proofreading it, maybe you need to add something, they will do that for you. They also have a career action plan from your first year as a student till you graduate. It's important to follow some of those actions to see what you need to do each semester so that by your senior year, you've completed all that and you're ready to, graduate and enter the workforce. So I would recommend checking that out before you come, just to see what your first couple semesters look like and what you should be completing as you go through your college education. We have counseling services. This is a free service for all students as well. And there we have a bunch of different services within our counseling services. So we have individual and group counseling, we have crisis intervention, psychiatric service. There's a bunch of workshops that this office does. So it's a great resource for our students. So please utilize that service if you feel like you need it. Financial aid, this is a big one. I just want to preface that students have to complete FAFSA every single year. So some might not know this, but please complete your FAFSA every year if you're wanting financial aid. That's important. You'll get reminders through your email. You'll probably get spammed through your email. But that's important to check your email because they will remind you, hey, FAFSA is coming up, you need to complete it, this is the deadline. They do workshops also with how to, filling out your FAFSA as well. They do virtual appointments as well. You can schedule with them Monday through Friday. So if you have questions about your financial aid, talk to your financial aid advisor. It's important, especially when you're coming into college and you do have financial aid and you're figuring out, maybe you need to withdraw from a class or you're not doing so hot in a class. Will you drop, if you drop this class, will it affect your financial aid? So make sure you talk to your financial aid advisor. Next is our Office of Educational Accessibility. If you have a learning, mental, physical, psychological, you need those accommodations, make sure you submit the appropriate documentation through that office, and we have accommodations set for students, so that's important. We're not retroactive doing those accommodations, so you need to be proactive and get those accommodations, and you can send those to your professor so you have those before you start the semester. Next is our Center for Major Exploration and our success coaching. So here, for first year students, specifically our main connect is students can sign up to meet with a success coach, and they provide a lot of resources, whether that's time management or career guidance or figuring out what major, you're leaning towards. You can also meet with a career or success coach to figure out major exploration. So maybe you're coming in as engineering, and while we want you to stay in engineering, maybe you take a couple classes and engineering's maybe whatnot, you didn't think it was what you thought. So we would recommend, or we would send you to major exploration and connect with them to figure out maybe what major does align with you a little bit more. So this is just a few resources that we have. There's a bunch more that we have, and I will put a link in the chat if you want to do some more research about our resources. We can go to the next slide. I'm going to talk about student success programs. We have a couple, and a couple of them are offered partly over the summer. So a new one that we are launching this upcoming fall is our Monarch Acceleration Program to Engineering. So we call it our MAP to E. There's a bunch of benefits when joining this program. This program is designed for students who maybe weren't given math opportunities in high school, and don't place at our, freshman math, which is calculus 1 if you're thinking the engineering track, or pre-calc 1 if you're thinking the engineering technology. So this program is designed to give more, resources to this group of students. You'll be placed into a impact learning community, so you'll be grouped with fellow students who are in the same program. You'll take similar classes. You have the opportunity to potentially look into adding a minor to your degree or looking into certificate to your degree as well. They will have additional tutors for this program as well, and math and chemistry support, along with mentoring from faculty, and they'll have peer mentors as well for this group of this program. There's also there's scholarship opportunities with this program as well. So if you're interested in this program, there's a couple steps that you have to do. One is fill out that interest form on the screen, and I will link it as well after I'm done talking. I'll link the interest form. You will also have to submit your ODU admissions deposit, which I believe all of you have since you're confirmed students. And then you will have to complete the math, the ALEX placement exam, and the chemistry placement exam. Once you've completed all three, we will review your application, we'll review all of that stuff, and then we will determine if you are suitable for the program or not. There's also, I forgot to mention, there's a summer transition program part of this program as well. So you'll come to campus for about a week, and we'll do a bunch of activities to kind of transition you into your college, your freshman year when you get here. So there's going to be a lot of activities. You'll get a taste of where your classes are. You'll learn hopefully get to meet some of the tutors or peer mentors and all that kind of stuff as well. Next is our EAP program. So this is Engineering Early Advantage Program for Women. This is also a week-long residential program that is happening over the summer. We do this every single year for our students. You all should have received an email regarding this program, I believe. So keep an eye out for your email, or check your email if you receive this invitation. This is for all confirmed female freshman students in engineering. And you'll come to campus, you will, be placed live with other engineering female students. You'll do a project together. You will take a trip to an industry site. You will meet faculty, you'll meet staff, you'll meet fellow students. It's a great way to also transition from high school to college as well. And that is happening July 21st to July 26th. Lastly, I want to talk about our ODU Living Learning Community for Engineering. Is this just for engineering, Kristen, or is this, okay, that's what I thought. So this is open to all first-year students who are in the Batten College of Engineering Technology. Basically, you will live on the same floor as other first-year engineering students. You'll take basically the same classes together or similar classes. You'll be paired together. You will enroll in the same engineering 110, but I believe it's going to be 121 upcoming fall. We just changed our curriculum a little bit, so that will look a little bit different. You will be in our Owens House, which is one of our newer buildings on campus. And there's a couple requirements that you need to do when wanting to pursue this opportunity. You'll have to take the Alex placement exam. You probably are all seeing a trend is take the Alex. And you have to, when you place into a math, you have to either place into our pre-calculus class or above to be in this living learning community. And there's a bunch of different benefits with this community. We have a lot of communities on campus, and we do this for a reason. Studies have shown that students in cohorts tend to succeed a little bit more, so that's why we have these communities set in place for our students. It's also a great way to connect with other students who are like-minded, and it's also great because they form study groups together, and you'll see them around campus in groups, and they know their fellow peers as well without going into a classroom and not knowing anyone. So you'll have something in common. Believe that is all. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the floor up to questions. If you have questions, feel free to drop it in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, feel free to do so. We have about 30 minutes left, so we'll try to answer all of your questions that you have. But if not, you feel free to log out. I'm going to put the sign-in link again. But if you want to stick around and if you have questions, or if you don't have questions and you want to just hear, feel free. Do we have questions? Okay, well, it looks like we have one. Is Alex still needed for the living learning community if a student is using SAT, ACT scores for the placement in math?
No,
They do not.
no, as long as they're in a math class and they haven't taken the equivalent at a community college. Some people try to take the equivalent. You need to be in that engineering 121 class.
When is the chemistry placement test available to take?
It's available now. You can take that today, tonight after we get off this call if you want to.
When will the decisions about the LLC acceptance be made?
I have not got the application list because I don't think it closes till May 1st. So I'll start looking at them around May 1st, and then you should get those, probably like within the week if you've applied.
Okay. What is the main differences between engineering and technology? So one of the big ones is engineering is more theoretical based, and then engineering technology is potentially working with current technology that's already out there. It might be a little bit more hands-on as opposed to engineering. There's a lot that you'll learn in both. So if you're thinking mechanical engineering and mechanical engineering technology, you'll learn a lot of the same things, but the approach might be a little bit different. But at the end of the day, some companies just want to see engineering, and they don't care if it's engineering or engineering technology. So you could get jobs in the engineering world if you're engineering technology. It's all engineering, I should say, at the end of the day.
And sorry, Sage, not to interrupt you. But in the state of Virginia, as long, if you're planning on staying here, engineering technology is recognized as a professional engineering degree. So as long as you take the FE after you graduate and you pass the FE, the fundamentals exam, you can apply for your PE within 6 years or after 6 years of work in industry and take your professional engineering test. So it is recognized in the state of Virginia, and you can be a PE, just like, engineering. So that's one note that I'd like to make. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So there's some more. We're getting lots of good questions in here. So I'm not sure if this was already mentioned, but is there a deadline for taking the ALEX test and when it needs to be completed? So I would say the sooner the better, so we can get you registered for classes. We're going to open up registration on May 13th. As long as you have an ALEX score, you'll email engineering advising as soon as you finish your placement test, send us a picture of your score. We'll send you the link to set up an appointment, and then we will get you registered as soon as May 13th. And that email, I'm going to put that in the chat.
What type of computers would you need for the program? I am going to put a link to what we recommend for technology. One of the biggest ones is do not get a Mac. Mac is not very compatible with a lot of our systems within engineering, so stay away from Mac if you can. But I will put what we recommend for like the specs and everything in the chat once I find it.
So another question that we had while she's doing that, will there be a link to this recording of the Zoom call? Yes, and we're going to actually post it on our website, and we'll be sure to share that link with you. Since you guys participated in this call, you guys will get first dibs to it. But we will also post it on our website. I had a direct question. Does dual enrollment, oh, everybody's coming in hot here. Does dual enrollment college composition through TCC exempt you from taking the English placement exam or the composition placement exam? Yes, but remember, you have to send in that TCC transcript. You can't just send in your high school transcript. Is the writing sample play still required if you pass DE English? Yes, no, it's not required. As long as you have that dual English class. Is the ALEX still required for the LLC if AP Calc AB score was a 4? No, you automatically are going to place into calculus. So, or Calc 2. So you should be good to go. Writing sample placement, does it taking dual enrollment English mean that you are exempt? Yes, you are exempt. Now, make sure that whatever English you're taking is English and not literature. So if you're taking literature at your dual enrollment, that's a different requirement than composition. So in your general education requirements, you have composition 1, composition 2, and literature. So that might be a difference. And if you have dual enrollment, you might still have to take literature. If you're taking DE, how will that affect your registration? When do your DE classes end?
Right. And
Pardon me? In May?
Yes, at the end of May.
Okay, at the end of May. So you just, when you're meeting with your advisor, you just need to let us know. Now, if you are taking math, we have to have that math score before we can put you in math. So one thing that I'll recommend to you guys now. So if you're taking AP calculus and you're not going to have that score until July, but your SAT score places you into pre-calc 2, I would go ahead and register for pre-calc 2 or whatever your SAT score gets you in, and we can build your schedule out. And then once you get that AP score in, we can change your schedule, and drop the pre-calc 2 and add the calculus. We might have to do some more rearranging with your schedule, but we can do that for you. But I would get registered sooner rather than waiting till July for that AP score. We can get you in whatever math class you qualify for at that time.
So if I'm in a DE class, Calc 1, Calc 2, would I register for Calculus 3?
Yes. Are you a transfer student, or are you've been doing this through
DE courses.
DE? Okay. Okay. Yep. We just need those final transcripts sent in to ODU before we can get you registered. Okay, where are we at, Sage?
Let's see. Is ALEX still required for LLC if AP Calc AB score was 4?
I answered that.
Oh, you did? Sorry, I was looking up.
Sorry. I got some direct messages here. So how do you go about taking the math placement test being proctored because I took Alex without being proctored and now I'm doing the modules. You should be able to sign up for a proctored exam. So you might have gotten ahead before we revamped how they're doing the Alex. The name on this one is Zoom user. So Zoom user, if you reach out to the testing center, they should be able to go ahead and schedule a placement test for you. If the Alex required, if we have a high enough SAT score, no, you don't have to take the Alex if you have a high enough SAT score. Just make sure you've submitted your SAT scores. When do we schedule classes? So we're going to start that on May 13th. But again, you have to have the placement test or your SAT score, ACT score, dual enrollment, all those different moving pieces. We need that information before we can schedule that with you. Am I correct in understanding that if we pass all 3 exams prior to May 13th, we can start registering for classes? You will have to meet with an advisor to start registering for classes. We will build a plan for you in DegreeWorks, and you will meet with an advisor. We're going to do small group advising, and so you'll be meeting with advisors based off of your placement test. So if you place in pre-calc 1, you'll be meeting with me. If you're in pre-calc 2, it'll be another advisor. So you'll meet with like people in small groups. And it might just be you at the beginning because people are still trying to complete their tests. But our goal is to have small groups so then you can have somebody that you can get to know before you come to campus. Sage shared the recommended technology link for you, so that's available in the chat. So I understand if our SAT score places me into calculus, then I don't have to take the Alex. That is correct. How do I get notified to start registering? And we are given guidance to choose the classes. So you have to complete the modules. So those new to blue modules and then the engineering modules, you have to complete those. And then again, May 13th is when we're going to start registering students for classes. And that's the earliest. The Center for Major Exploration and the College of Education, those are in the College of Engineering. We're the only 3 colleges that are going to be registering before May 13th. Everybody else will start registering in mid-June when they come for their different orientation. They're going to come in for a registration day. So this is an added benefit for being in our college. What courses or tests determine which math class the student needs to take to register, or is it the Alex? It is the Alex or your SAT score. And we shared that slide a little bit earlier. I think I can go back to that. That's going to be helpful for you guys. There you go. Does that help you? If I took AP Calculus my junior year in high school, could you submit your test scores for the AP exam and be exempt from taking the Alex test? Yes. Get those test scores in. As long as you got a 4 in AP Calculus, that will count. So get that in. What is a high enough SAT score? That's up on my screen right now. How do the test exemptions affect the advisor assignment process? So you're going to be meeting with your advisor by math, and that's just for the summer. And then your advisor is going to be by alphabet once you get on campus. But we're going to try to divide and conquer this summer based off of your math test score, because we're wanting to do that small group advising. Someone else, if we don't take the Alex, we can't get into the LLC. That is not true. So if you're trying to get into the LLC, as long as you have the correct SAT score, so you need a 580, you can still qualify to get into the LLC. So 504s from high school do not go over. I am type 1 diabetic and I need to go take care of it. So the Office of Educational Accessibility. So if you Google ODU OEA, you can reach out to them and they can make sure that you have the accommodations that you need. And I would ask since you're still in the school, I would ask your high school counselor to get your 504 and you can submit that to OEA. And if they need any additional documentation, they will be able to tell you what they need. And if your doctor needs to provide something additional, You know, you can do that. And that goes for any kind of learning differences that you might have. So if you have extra time on tests in high school, 99% of the time you're going to get extra time on your test in college. You just need to make sure you have that proper documentation. They might ask for a little bit more, but as long as you have that 504, you've at least got your foot in the door. And do not sleep on that. I'm going to get on my little soapbox right now for a minute. Sorry, Sage knows this one for me. But don't sleep on that. If you feel like, you know, maybe you use accommodations your freshman and sophomore year in high school and you figured out how to use it. Once you get to college, it's different. And I would get that 504. I would get the accommodations that you need and take your test there. If you take your first test and you're fine, cool. You don't have to go back. But if you take your first test and bomb it, you don't get to retake that test. So I would start out with them, and then if you feel like you don't need it, then you don't have to use it. But I would start out with it. That's my pro tip. How do we tell if we've submitted our SAT scores? That should be in your admissions packet. Is that correct, Sage?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Does the summer program for women in engineering have a limit of participants? Yes, it has 10 right now. We might try to bump that up to 15 if we get the get funding. Do transcripts suffice for AP scores? No, you have to submit those from College Board. So if I have over a 3.4 GPA, I will be automatically put into Math 103. That is correct. But I would encourage you to take the ALEX, because if you start at Math 103 and you want to do engineering, your Math 103, Pre-Calc 1, Pre-Calc 2, Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, ordinary differential equations, and then if you're mechanical engineering, you have Stat 330. So that's 8 math classes, and you're pretty much adding on an extra year. So that's going to put you on a 5-year plan. If you want to do engineering technology, it's a little bit more doable for you if you start at college algebra, and that's fine. So it's college algebra, Pre-Calc 1, Pre-Calc 2, and calculus, and then you're done with math. So, okay, another Alex question. To clarify, if SAT is not high enough, then I have to take the ALEX. The ALEX or SAT will enable the student to register. That is correct. Does the student need to reach out to you for registration, or will you invite them to the small groups to be sent to those students that have completed the required either SAT or ALEX? When do students receive an admissions packet? Okay, so you have to go through the modules, our engineering modules. And once you do that on Canvas, at the end, it's going to tell you what you need to do. So it'll probably say, take a picture of your ALEX score and send it in. But if you have your SAT score, you can take a picture of your SAT score and send it in, and then we can determine which math class you're in. So however you're going to place into math, or whatever you're using to place into math, take a picture of that, and you're going to send that to engineeringadvising@odu.edu, which I shared that email address earlier. And that is going to be in your modules as well. An admissions packet. I'm not quite sure what you mean by an admissions packet. So if you want to give me some more information, I will try to get that to you. Does ODU participate in Skills USA? I don't know, Sage. I haven't heard of that.
I also have not heard of that.
How do I find the engineering modules? You have to be invited via email, and I have not gotten the list of confirmed students yet. So they're going to invite you to the New to Blue modules first, and then we should get that information either on Friday or Monday. So look for an email on Tuesday. And I'll show you the modules real quick before we get off this call. You mentioned an admissions package. I mentioned an admissions package.
Maybe a checklist?
Admissions checklist. It might, in your admissions application. If I said package, I meant your admissions application. That's where you can check to see if you submitted your SAT scores. And then the checklist, I shared the picture of that earlier in the beginning. Somewhere. There you go. There's what the checklist, that's on your portal page. Okay, do you guys want to see the engineering modules real quick before we? If you guys have more questions, please, keep
Yes, send
putting.
them in.
You wanna see these?
First, they're gonna give you a look at, they look like
What looks
The-
like?
the engineering modules that you've got. I'd come sometimes.
It looks like assignments.
Any other questions?
Okay, so these are your engineering modules. If you scroll down, there's a start here. And then you can see the different modules. So it starts with like a little welcome. You have a PowerPoint, there's a little video that's gonna play. You'll go to the next one. It'll talk about the placement test because it's always so important, and we talk about it till we're blue in the face, and you'll be amazed at how many people don't want to take those tests. Just some pro tips here. If you want to make the slides bigger, you can come down here and make the slides bigger. And then you can use right here where it says slide 2 of 12 to toggle. A lot of this stuff is going to be familiar from what you just saw in the presentation that we just shared. Also, there's a little quiz that you're going to have to do, so you can take your quiz. But you'll be good to go. Now, this is my view, so let me share that as a student view. So this is what it'll look like for you. But you should get this like by next Tuesday. Do you require official SAT, ACT reports? Yes. They need to be sent to ODU through College Board. Or I think that's who does SAT is College Board. Any other questions? You guys get enough information? I feel like we threw a lot at you tonight, but we'll be sure to share these slides with you. For me, I really want to thank you guys for spending time with us tonight and learning about our college and our requirements, and make sure you log on to Alex and start taking those math tests. So this call will be available to review, and the link will be sent out via email. Yes, it'll be sent out to your ODU email. And then are you going to send the PowerPoint immediately, Sage? And then
I'm gonna send the PowerPoint after this. We are gonna upload the Zoom link to our YouTube page, so that might take a couple of days. So once that is on there, I'll be sure to send that to you all as well.
to clarify, the Alex test has to be completed with the proctor, while the chemistry and writing test can be done online. Yes, that is correct. But the Alex can be proctored via Zoom. How do we look at our application to see if we submitted SAT scores? I do not know because I don't have access to an application. It's been a long time since I've been a student, and I was only in grad school here.
If you're unsure, you can always email our missions team and they will be able to help you out with that.
If you have additional questions, would there be an email? Engineeringadvising@odu.edu is going to be the best email to reach us at.
Any other questions before we end?
Last chance, going once, going twice. Okay, well, thank you guys for coming tonight. We appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you guys in May for the Zoom registration, and then again in July, and then back in August. So we're excited to have you all. Have a good night.
Thank you all.